What's up, everyone? Roxy, Firewife Lawyer Mom. How's everybody doing out there? All right, today I'm going to let you in on the 7 reasons why this full-time attorney, working mom decided to homeschool. So stay tuned. All right, so this video is something that has been very much requested by my subscribers, and so I wanted to do this video to talk about why I decided to homeschool, and I came up with 7 reasons that I decided to homeschool my children and to find a way through all of the busy life that I already have and actually homeschool my own children. It's definitely something that I never thought I was gonna ever be able to do or that I ever had the patience to do, but so many things kind of lined up for me to actually do it that this is where God has placed me. I'm a true believer in that God puts certain situations in your life that you may not expect, that you may not think you know how to do, but he did put this into my heart, and I've absolutely loved this journey, and I just started my journey really, but I'm just so excited for the journey ahead. So I'm gonna go through the 7 reasons why I decided to homeschool, in hopes that maybe this will inspire you if you're kind of thinking about homeschooling but not sure if you're able to do it, or if you already do homeschool and you just wanted to have, some reinforcement, reassurance that you're on the right path and that you made the best decision for your children. So a couple of disclaimers before I start, because I want to make sure I get these out of the way. The first one is that I truly believe that teachers are amazing human beings. I have a very, very dear friend of mine who's a teacher, and I do believe that they are superheroes. They are amazing people. They are given the resources that they're given, and they're able to multiply those resources into such an amazing vocation that they have. And I really admire them because sometimes they're not given many resources, but they're able to, just the love and the care that they have for children is unbelievable. And so I wanted to kind of make sure that everyone understood that was watching this video that this is not by any chance, by any means, a knock on teachers or on schooling. Every parent and every family is different. Everyone has a different path in life and decides what they want to do and what's best for their family. What I have found with homeschooling is that even though I never thought it would be a good fit for my family, I have found just such amazing blessing with it. And I didn't even know that I could do it. If you're also a working mom that may wonder, if there's something that you could do with your work schedule to be able to homeschool your children, definitely stay tuned to this video as well, because you may get some ideas. I did do a video a while back on how I am a working mom and homeschool my kids. So I will link it definitely on the description box below so that you can see the way that I manage my time in order to do what I'm doing. But I wanted to just leave that disclaimer out there that this is not a knock on the school system or on teachers at all. This is just what I have found is best for my children and for my family. And it was a decision that was made with a lot of prayer and a lot of reflection and a lot of prompting by what I believe was the Holy Spirit. Another disclaimer I'm going to give you guys is that my children never attended public school. So our experience with the schooling system has only been through the private school system. And on top of that, my children only attended religious education institutions. So my children have been in Christian school and in Catholic school, but never in public school. So I don't really have a lot of experience with that, but I do have experience with private private schooling. My husband and I, from a very from when we were, before we were even having children, we always kind of had that idea that we would send our children to religious school because we wanted them to have a faith formation to be part and parcel of their education. We wanted it to be merged together. We didn't want that to be separated because we believe that religion and faith is the foundation of just being, you know, who they are. And so I wanted that to be very much ingrained. But that's pretty much what our plan was when we first started to put our children in school. Another thing is that this is the first year that we homeschool. So our children, my youngest is in kindergarten, my oldest is in 3rd grade. But before this year, they have always gone to school. So this is our first homeschool. So just to give you a little kind of update as to my journey to homeschooling. First of all, you know, we never thought this was something we were going to do. We thought that they were just going to go to school until high school and college, and that was going to be our plan. And I think most parents have that idea in their minds. But for us, we did have a lot of struggles, especially with my younger daughter. She does have a medical condition called epilepsy. And so we've been on a journey with that, trying to get her to seizure freedom. And so as a result of that, she did have some challenges while she was in school that we had to deal with, and didn't get a lot of good experience with them trying to deal with those kinds of challenges. And so we definitely were frustrated last year about that. We were also frustrated with the environment of schooling. We were frustrated with you know, the value system that our children were learning, what the kind of influences that they were experiencing and being exposed to. So those were kind of some of the minor, not minor, but major things that we were, you know, that were kind of bothering us, but we kind of felt like, well, you know, they've got to be in school and that's the only other option and there's no other choice. But then COVID happened and everything shut down. And so what happened to us was we basically were all forced to be homeschoolers. And if you could relate to that, I'm sure that you also became a homeschooler without even knowing it. And so when that happened, like I've said before, I am a full-time attorney, but when COVID happened, everything kind of shut down. My business started to kind of slow down a bit because the courts were closed. And so I was able to take that opportunity, those 2 or 3 months that we were on lockdown, to really just start to teach my children. First of all, my children didn't do well with distance learning. They weren't big fans of it. My younger one, who's in kindergarten, was not really that focused to begin with in a regular classroom setting because of all of the children that were there, and the class size was so big. So when we went to distance learning, it was a struggle. We really didn't feel that it was fruitful for her. So as a result, I felt like I had to kind of provide my children with a alternative to what they were doing with distance learning. I don't like them to be on screens to begin with. So I started to kind of do little things here and there on my own. I started to kind of incorporate some science and some faith lessons and things like that. And as I started to dive into it, I looked at a lot of YouTube videos, actually, a lot of homeschool moms, to get some ideas just to kind of supplement what they were doing. And to kind of bring a little bit of learning alive into my home. And I started to just dive into the homeschool community. And I started reading blogs and looking at all these different articles about the joys of homeschooling and the benefits of homeschooling. And then I started to kind of, you know, think, well, maybe that's something that I could do. And it was something that I had tried to do a couple of years ago with my younger one, who was having a lot of challenges at her school, and was very frustrated with it. I had a lot of misconceptions about homeschooling. I thought homeschooling was like, people that did that were like crazy and weird, because why would you want to spend all day at home with your children teaching them? Because I'm not really a patient person. So I did think that it was quite odd. to be homeschooling, and I really didn't understand that world at all. But my eyes were very much opened the more I started to look into things, and I started to have a deep respect for parents that decide to educate their children. And so now I'm going to kind of get into the reasons why we decided to homeschool. So the first reason is we wanted our children to have a different experience of their education. We truly believe that we are a Catholic family, and we truly believe in what our church teaches us, which is that we are, as parents, the primary educators of our children. It is not the teachers, it is not the coaches, it is not the school system or the principal, but we as parents are the primary educators of our children. And I feel that in our society, it's almost as if our society believes that we basically raise our children from when they're babies. We teach them how to potty train. We teach them how to walk. We, do all of this stuff. But then once they're 5 or 6 years old, it's like, okay, you're done now. We step in as the school administration, and now we're in charge of what they learn and what they experience around education. And I really wasn't that happy with that, because I felt like, there's no one that knows your children better than you. So that definitely bothered me, because I felt like I was kind of handing my children over to these people who were great people, but I didn't really know them. I mean, what was their value system? What did they learn about? Were they teaching them the faith that I wanted them to learn? So I feel that my reason for homeschooling, the first one, is that it provides me an opportunity to be that educator, to be that person that provides a healthy and positive school environment with my kids and learning environment. So that's the first reason. The second reason is customized education. You could take your children to the most expensive, prestigious, private school you could ever take them to, but nothing beats one-on-one customizable education. We as parents know the way our children learn. We know the way that they understand things, the way that they see the world. And I felt like homeschooling provides such a great opportunity for you to customize learning to their specific needs. I experienced this very much with my younger daughter, who she, because of her epilepsy, has a lot of focus problems, and she didn't do well with school. And a lot of times the teachers would kind of translate her lack of focus to, her not being capable or smart enough or able to do the things that children her age were doing, when she really was. It's just that she learns in a different way. She's more of a tactile learner, likes to learn like more of a hands-on learner. And when she's got a lot of kids kind of causing chaos all around, it's hard for her to focus amongst that. And so customizing her education has just really been amazing for her and has made her just improve leaps and bounds. When she came home when the whole COVID thing happened, I started she barely could write her name. She was in pre-K4, finishing the pre-K4 year. And at that point, I don't even think she was ready for kindergarten, because she really struggled with writing, with reading, with basic skills that my older daughter had mastered at a very young age. But once I started to work with her one-on-one, once I started to really learn my child and how she learned and how she was able to absorb information, it was like night and day. It was like a light bulb went on in her. And it was just so amazing to see that I could do stuff with her and she would learn it. And so what it took the school system months to teach her, I was teaching her in a matter of weeks, sometimes even days. So providing that customized education was, for me, so crucial. Number 3 is freedom and flexibility. What's awesome about where we live is that we're not required to homeschool a certain amount of days in the year. We really, as long as we, are showing progress and we are hitting the standards that we need to hit for their grade level, We can pick and choose when we take off, when we have breaks. I mean, I did my homeschool schedule for the year, and I felt like this just breath of fresh air of freedom that, like, wow, I can take 3 weeks off in December and go on a trip and celebrate the holidays away, and I don't have to worry about school. We can do school on the road. We can do school everywhere. We have this thing where we take off. We never have school on our birthday. Our birthday is a school holiday in our home. And so that's what I love about it. We can travel when people are at school and save money on that and not have to deal with crowds. So definitely the freedom and flexibility of homeschooling is awesome. Another thing is on a day-to-day, what the school takes 8 hours to do, homeschoolers do in 2 to 3 hours. I am done by lunchtime. By 12:30, 1 o'clock, we are done with our lessons. We don't have homework. We can focus on our extracurricular activities. And I just find that with homeschooling, it's like we don't have this rush in the morning of making lunches, getting everybody out the door, people half asleep, grumpy, grouchy. I mean, we get to wake up in the morning. We focus on God and our scriptures. We read about the saints. We learn about our faith in the morning over breakfast time. It's just so freeing and just unbelievably amazing, the joys and the blessings that we have with this freedom. The next thing is protecting their innocence. So this is a big one for me, and I just love this part of homeschooling. I am a true believer that between the ages of 0 and 7 years old, children are supposed to be children. And nowadays, it's almost like they're growing up so fast because people are exposing their children to things that for me and my family, we don't think is appropriate. But if they go to school, they have to be exposed to those things and then, lose their innocence in a certain way. And so I believe that with homeschooling, we can really allow our children to live out their childhood, to be playing. When we're done with homeschooling, we're playing. We're going out in nature. We're doing different activities. We are just enjoying being children. And I just love that. I love that about homeschooling. And a lot of times people say to me, well, what about socialization? I mean, I think that's, aside from the COVID craziness, it's not difficult at all to have your kids socialize with other children. But what I find is that when they're in school, all they do is socialize with children their age. So how are they learning proper socialization from peers that they don't know how to socialize themselves? So I definitely believe that when they interact with children that are different ages, it really helps prepare them to deal with the real world where they're not going to have just people their age. They're going to have to deal with adults. I always tell my husband that, and we always have this philosophy that we're not raising children, we're raising adults. We're raising the future of our country, of our world. And so that is another really important reason. The next thing is the closeness of our family. So we truly believe that with homeschooling, our children are able to really establish a wonderful bond with each other. We are able to establish a bond as a family. We have gotten so much closer now. Of course, our children still fight and our children still have bickering and arguing and all of those things, but they have this special bond because we learn together. We do family subjects together. Sometimes my husband joins in when he's off of work, and we really get to bond as a family and learn together. And that is, to me, so valuable that once they get older, they're really going to they're really going to be closer together. And that's so important for me, that children really become very bonded with their parents, so that when they go out into the world, they see their parents as just a role model for them. So that's another reason why we homeschool. Another thing is teaching the faith. So we are big believers. We are Catholic family, and we are big believers in forming our children in the faith. And that's so important to me. I was born and raised Catholic, and I love my Catholic faith. I'm very proud of it. And what I love about homeschooling is that I'm really able to focus on the faith, on the teachings of our faith, and I don't have to feel bad about it. They can pray before their lessons. They can do all of those things that they may not be able to do in a public school. And my children went to Catholic school, and although the Catholic school system is great and works well for a lot of people, I wanted more. I wanted a deeper, I wanted them to be ingrained deeper into the faith, and I felt that with the curriculum that I have chosen and that I do with them, they're really able to understand the tenets of their faith. So that's another reason why I homeschool. Another reason why I am grateful for homeschooling is the curriculum. I get to choose the curriculum. That to me is just so powerful, because what I believe is that now, even whether public or private school, I feel that the curriculum in today's educational system has really been infiltrated by a lot of powerful organizations that are truly influencing our children. They're teaching them things that it's a very liberal agenda. It's something that is not teaching them a love of country, a love of our history. And so that's another big reason why we decided to homeschool, because I want to raise patriotic children. I want to raise children that love their country, that really know history and know about the amazing things about our country. And I feel that the curriculum nowadays has really moved away from teaching the things that even I was taught when I was a child. And so choosing a curriculum that provides the right message to my children is so important. I am very careful about the curriculum that I choose. The curriculum I choose is something that maintains a Judeo-Christian principle, that maintains goodness, and that keeps and maintains their innocence. And so that's another great reason for me to homeschool, is that I get to choose that curriculum and be able to control those messages that are sent. The last reason that I have chosen, and I don't even know if I've gone to 7 or not, and I'm sorry about that if I didn't, but the last reason is the bullying. Bullying has become a huge problem in our schools today. My older daughter experienced some of it even in private school. No matter what kind of school you go to, bullying has become a big problem. And so I wanted to keep my kids in an environment where they can focus on learning and not focus on those kinds of negative influences and negative things. And so, I know that they're going to encounter bullies in this world. I know that bullies are all over the place. But I truly believe that during these formidable years that they should not experience that, that they should really be strong and in who they are, and really develop a positive sense of self, so that when they do go out into the world, they can face those bullies head on, because they securely know who they are. And so that was another reason why we decided to homeschool, because we felt that that was just absolutely important for them to really be in a safe and a non-hostile environment. Unfortunately, we can't control what other people do with their children. And so sometimes when my children were in school, I would end up spending time unteaching them what they've learned. And it's inevitable. They're going to experience kids that have different values, and I understand that. But the more that I can protect them, the better that I feel that it will be for our family. All right, guys, so those are the reasons why I have decided to homeschool. Leave in the comments below what you think of this video. If you have any reasons that I didn't mention that are reasons that you homeschool, and I would love to see your comments. Hopefully we can keep it all positive, but definitely I'm speaking from the heart, and hopefully this video has been helpful. If you're interested in homeschooling, homeschooling and you need any kind of resources, feel free to leave them also on the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video to see more videos, and I look forward to continuing to share my journey with all of you. All right, take care. Bye-bye.